Hello and welcome to Killer Off-Road Hobbies. This is another full review and my thoughts video, and today we are focusing on the Kingmotor RX Rally. This is a 1/7 scale rally car from King Motors that you can get for less than $400 if you choose to get the almost ready to run, I guess you could call it, that doesn't come with the battery. Now this thing comes in at 24.5 inches long, 12 inches wide and 9 inches tall. Here's a look at the body. While being dirty and a little scuffed up, it did great. Here's a look at the chassis. Foam bumpers, a little worse for the wear, but all in all, this thing took a beating and kept going. As you can see here, you got full adjustability on camber and toe in the front. You have this nice little shield that is a little bit stubborn to get off, but it does come off relatively easily. It just sticks on there a little bit with Velcro, but yeah, this thing would be cool, but we'll talk about how fitting a battery under this thing isn't very easy. We'll set that aside for now and kind of give you a look at the waterproof 20 kg high torque steering servo, 1900 kV brushless motor, plenty of power in that thing right there. It is kind of a small can though, and your 120 amp ESC. Here's a look at the rear camber adjustments. It does have a track bar front and rear, aluminum shock towers, and threaded bodied shocks. They are plastic though, so just kind of be wary of that. It wasn't a problem for me at all. You do have quite a bit of adjustability, especially for the price of this car. As you can see, closed in A-arms, nice flat pan chassis. This is the same chassis that was used on the HPI Apache, so it is tried and tested. Looking at the transmitter, this is a really nice unit, especially for the price of this. Runs on 4 AA's and has several adjustments. It's got an LCD screen. We'll turn it on so you guys can see that. Very nice. Low battery is not good, but you have your dual rate adjustment here, your throttle adjustment, and your steering adjustment. All in all, this is a very, very solid transmitter. Alright everybody, so now that we went over that, I'm just going to kind of give you my thoughts as normal. When I got this thing, I'll just kind of give you a little backstory. This is the first actual car I have had on this channel, and I wasn't expecting much from King Motors, and I wasn't expecting much from an actual rally car. I know these things are supposed to be driven on relatively even surfaces without a lot of rocks and stuff, and mostly actually on pavement and asphalt. So I knew I was going to be pushing the boundaries of this thing, and I wasn't expecting a whole lot, especially for the price point on this, coming in at less than $400. So I mean, I just kind of got it because it was cheap, cool, big, and I just wanted to kind of test it out. And I do have to say, I am really pleasantly surprised. I mean, this thing kind of sold me on rally cars. It is super, super, super fun, and the beating this thing took, while not being overly crazy, like monster truck style, like huge giant wrecks and all that stuff, for what it is, I pushed this thing well beyond its limits and what would be considered reasonable for this thing to do. And I literally had no breakages. I had a couple screws come loose, one screw pull out, and I think that screw had come loose and just a little bit pulled out because I threaded it back in, and I haven't had a problem since. As far as the body, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from the body either. The body is held up. I did slightly reinforce it, but I didn't go the extra mile and really reinforce it or anything. I did shave it a little bit around the rear tires and the front and rear bumper. I did give it a little more clearance because it did tend to drag the ground pretty often. But outside of that, I mean, this thing has been phenomenal. So yeah, here's a look at the body. The body is massive, very very big. Makes the car look a lot bigger than it actually is. But it held up good. I don't have any cracks or anything like that in this body. I mean, this thing is rugged, very durable, and a testament to that is how much it scraped on the front and everything. And there's no cracks or really much anything more than scratches and a little bit of peeling of the stickers. So, I mean, this body is definitely solid. Now, this little cover piece, while being awesome, if you could use it, I found that if you want to run any kind of decent size pack, this thing won't fit on. So I didn't end up running this thing at all, but trust me, I know why they threw this in this kit, because this chassis is an absolute magnet for junk to get up in it. Anything that the tires kick up or get kicked up at all from you driving around with this huge body, it just like throws it all up in the chassis. It's crazy how much stuff actually gets in this chassis. So I do understand why they threw this in there, but like I said, even running a medium-sized pack in this, or two small medium-sized packs, you know, if you want to run dual batteries, I just ran a single, you're gonna have a problem fitting this thing for sure. I mean, I tried my smallest 4S pack, which is only like that tall, and it still wouldn't let it sit down right. So I mean, while this is an excellent idea, it's not really functional. They should have made this battery spot much higher. I don't know why they didn't just kind of pop it up higher, but it is what it is. If you can find a battery that will fit in the tray, fit under this, I highly recommend running this, because this, like I said, this thing gets just caked with stuff. Like, it's ridiculous how much. Okay, so coming to the other stuff, it does have a plastic spur gear, but I haven't had any problems with it, even with all the junk that gets up in there. I was really skeptical of this system. It's a 1900 kV motor. It's not a very big can either, and 120 amp 6S capable ESC. I honestly thought I was going to have huge heat issues with this setup, and this motor wasn't going to be very powerful. While this thing won't, you know, win you any races, it is plenty for most hobbyists, especially on 6S. And the ESC, while only being 120 amps, I didn't have any heat issues with it, which is, it really surprised me that I didn't. Like, I was highly expecting not to even be able to run 6S with this 120 amp ESC, because I just figured it was going to hit thermal constantly, and I didn't hit thermal once. From my experience, all of this stuff that this buggy is comprised of, or this rally car I should say, is good to go. The plastics held up. It took several hard hits on the shock towers, and as you can see, they're flexible enough to just soak it up without breaking. It's actually really nice. I didn't have any issues with this thing as far as durability wise. Like I said, I didn't have any like catastrophic, like, oh my god, crashes, but I did have several pretty hard crashes and just pushed this thing beyond what it's supposed to do. So with that being said, I mean, I think this thing is top notch, and parts will be easy to find for this. This is the chassis layout for the HPI Apache C1, I think it's called. So if you need parts, you can always go to Kingmotor.com and find parts for this thing. And if you want to kind of venture out and see if there's any upgrades and stuff, you can look for the Apache, the HPI Apache. You can find parts under that as well. Steering servo did fine. Everything was waterproof. I did have a little bit of scare because I was running it in the water and mud, and then it kind of like shut down on me. It didn't actually like twitch out because of the water. So, you know, that wasn't a problem. It does seem to be waterproof because, I mean, this chassis was completely covered. I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but it was literally this high, like in mud, just sitting in here. So, with the adjustability this thing comes with your adjustable camber, toe in and out, and camber in the rear, having threaded bodied shocks. They are big bore even though they're plastic. You know, my experience with this thing is just awesome. I mean, I had a ton of fun with this thing. I pushed it beyond what was reasonable, and it took it. It took everything. I mean, it's a really, really decent design. The tires even surprised me. While not having good side traction, which tends to be pretty fun because you can drift really easily, the tires had really good forward bite in all the situations I put this thing in, and they don't even look like I used them. They literally look brand new. The radio that this thing comes with, I am a big fan of. It has 10 model memory, only runs on 4 AA's. It's got an LCD screen, and it has all your adjustments in here, endpoints and everything, so that you can fine tune all of this stuff. So, I mean, for the price, I think this thing is a killer deal for sure. This little rally car has sold me on rally cars. So while I probably won't be hanging on to this exact car, I do plan on getting another rally car to see how it compares to this thing. You know, I saw a review of the HPI Apache, and it wasn't a very good review. The Jang, most people that watch review videos will know Jang from Ultimate RC. He wasn't a very big fan of the Apache C1, but it is a completely different design than this. This just uses the base chassis. Like, with this body and everything, it totally changes the dynamics and like the roll points and everything. His thing was that like it constantly rolled over and stuff. This thing doesn't. I mean, I think I had a few rollovers with this, but that's because I was going off a jump sideways, you know. This thing never just like rolled over on me. So I'm gonna have to give this thing literally 2 stamps of approval and 2 thumbs up. I think this is an awesome kit, and for the price point for a 1/6 scale 6S capable rig that comes with a transmitter that's this good, I don't see how you could beat this if you're in the market for a big rally car. I mean, you set this next to a 1/8 scale monster truck, and this thing holds its own. I mean, it is a decent sized RC. Well, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully this video was informative and or entertaining. If it was, please hit that thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs down. It's all the same to me. I like the feedback either way. It lets me know how I'm doing. And go ahead and check out that description if you want to. You can become a Patron, help support me and my adventure of trying to inform everybody of the RCs I test. And yeah, you can get Killer Off-Road Hobbies merchandise if you feel like it. Hey, sky's the limit. We're gonna keep this going. I have slowed down a little bit on like how many RCs I'm buying and reviewing all at once, but this is by no means the end of the channel. So yeah, we will see you on the next one, and I highly recommend the Kingmotor Rally if you're in the market for a rally car. This thing is awesome. Or if you just want to try a rally car. I mean, it's less than 400 bucks for a 6 scale. So, I mean, you're not gonna be like really upset if you end up not liking it, which in my eyes would be kind of weird if you didn't, because this thing is actually really, really awesome. Alright everybody, that's going to be it from Killer Off-Road Hobbies for this review. We'll see you on the next one. Peace!